Optimized
I'll
audio.
bring this up here as well, so we can talk into it like this, and we can make a little broadcast.
Optimized audio.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Sensual Sex Podcast.
Featured.
I need to put some like drill beats or something on you. I guess I'm better.
Yeah. Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Club Iron Podcast. Today I'm joined by Mr. Alex Knott, and today we are going to be talking about risk. Now, risk is a beautiful thing in life. It can be scary, it can be anxiety-inducing, but it can also be beneficial, and it can also be terrible as well. We're going to speak about why we have taken the risk that we have took, and
That we have taken.
yeah, we are going to take the risk. We're going to talk about. I don't even know. You know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, we're talking about risk, basically.
Yeah, we're going to talk about risk. But firstly, we're gonna dive into why this episode has sprung about and why we are talking about this. Myself and Alex recently left our 9-to-5 occupations in pursuit of the business and in pursuit of a service that we are passionate about providing. We'll speak about that service later in the episode. But for now, Alex, I want to know what are your thoughts.
I knew we were going to do that every fucking week.
If I introduce the podcast, then I'm obviously going to talk to you first. Otherwise, it's just going to be like a 10-minute monologue of me speaking.
I'm disappointed.
So I'd rather go bang, bang, bang.
All right, okay.
Sit off you.
Right, go on. Ask me my question.
So I just want to know, how do you feel at this current point in time about the risk you've taken?
Well, I've literally been unemployed for a week. So at the moment, everything's fine because I still have money. I don't know what the outcome of that risk will be. You know, I don't even know what else to say about it. Nah, I mean, right now I just feel things are the way they are. I feel better because I get to do what I want every day, but I don't know if that's such a good approach to do what I want every day. I think when you take the risk, when you take a risk like that without, a real solid foundation, you have to make it work. I don't know if our current work is going to make it work. I think it has to be a bit more than what we're doing now currently. That's the way I see risk. I think if you, especially in the sense that we've done it, we risked financial security. Well, actually, no, I didn't, because I live at home with my parents. I don't even know what risk is. What have I risked? What have I risked?
Financial stability.
I don't, but I have that.
Not really, though, because you don't have a generated income source constantly all the time.
No, but I don't need one because I don't have expenses. Thanks for watching, guys.
Alex not just completely shuts down the episode.
I'm not shutting it down. I'm giving you my honest opinion. Is that not what we want here?
I think that, to be honest with you, it took a lot to sort of quit my job because I was weighing up the pros and cons of it. Yeah,
you seem pretty keen to get out of there.
I was very keen to get out of there for the psychological factors. Like I was working every day and I was just thinking, like, this isn't me. It's like we said in the AJ Morris podcast. I was telling AJ that I had to play like basically a character in my 9-to-5 job because I was so uninterested in being there. I had to pretend as if I was feeling some type of way about the job, and that just wasn't me. And it was weighing me down psychologically as well. And obviously that, quitting your job is not a small feat. It does actually take some level of courage to do, whether you want to admit that or not. And there's a lot of people who are going to be uncertain about... Pardon me. There's going to be a lot of people who are going to be uncertain about your decision. I mean, especially parents. I mean, I remember Alex, you telling me your mother was just going mental. Not going mental, but was voicing.
She panicked because she just wanted me to. She wanted me to have that security, and she was concerned about what would happen now that I've left my job. She thought maybe that I wouldn't be able to progress in a career because despite my constant telling her that what I wanted to do did not involve a boss, it involved me building my own empire. And she supports it. It doesn't mean she doesn't support it. It just scares her. Everything worries her. Everything, especially involving me. She worries about whether I'm going to be safe, whether I'm going to be financially secure, especially not knowing whether she'll be financially secure. Can she afford to keep me? She doesn't know. She didn't really know how to deal with that because it is a big risk. And I worry. I get this from her. I worry about everything. And I worried about that risk. And I'm still worrying about where things will come from. But at the same time, and risk, it's the same with in this scenario specifically, because risk can be taken in different contexts and talked about completely differently. You know, in this context, it's a matter of, I don't know. If we stayed in our jobs, it's kind of like we can just slowly build it without much on the line. You know, we can spend Saturdays and Sundays on the podcast and building a YouTube channel and you know, and whatnot. But we didn't make money from it, and it could have continued as a hobby. Like my father was telling me, "Do we have a business?" And I'm like, "Well, yes." And he said, "But you don't make money." I'm like, "Well, fair enough. You know, we don't really have a business without a real understanding of where money is coming from and where that, you know, how to build that." So, and then I'm thinking, right, we've left our jobs for a hobby, but now, as you say, it's a matter of sink or swim. You know, we've got to make it work now. So the risk that we took, the huge leap that we took, and the risk that involved, has put us in a position now where it's make or break. We will either make this into something, or it'll all come tumbling down. We'll end up back in a 9-to-5 job in a year or 6 months. That's what this risk involved. Without that risk, would we be able to build this into something? I don't know. And then that begs the question, you know, is risk necessary? Can you avoid risks and build a successful empire? Probably not. Do I have evidence for that? I'm sure there are plenty of stories of it. In my own personal life, no, because this is the first major risk. Even though the stakes are kind of high, they're not that high.
No, we don't have kids or a mortgage, do we?
Yeah, well, that's true, yeah. But also, we can just go back to doing it as a hobby if all else fails. And I don't know how big the risk we took was. I don't know how big a risk this is. You know, we left our jobs happily because we knew that we could afford to do this for a short amount of time. It's when we get to the end of that where we'll really find out what this risk has allowed us to do. You know, if we end up just enjoying the freedom, that's not acceptable. We've got to use this risk now, use the risk that we've put ourselves under to move forward, to build something out of this. I'm waffling on now. I don't really know what else to say in that matter, but I think risk can be seen in different ways, depending on what you're referring to. Like if I look at trading, the more risk you take, the more reward you can get, but also you can blow your account within a day. So with risk comes responsibility, because you're responsible now for building this into something.
Yeah.
And if you're not going to dive into that and really, really get to work, then what you've done is really irresponsible by taking a huge risk and not working your ass off to make sure that it was worth it.
Yeah, I think risk is such a beautiful thing. I think the thing we got to look at is one day we're going to be in a position where we cannot take any more risks because we're going to be in a hospital bed on our deathbeds and
I'll still be trading the S&P 500 and I'm on my deathbed.
Will you?
I'm hoping not to be in a hospital bed on my way out. I'm hoping to go out quite quickly.
Yeah, that's quite morbid actually. It's quite a morbid thought, but I like the idea of risk, and I think that you only get one chance in life. You only get one roll of the dice. And every time you go to sleep, you're risking your life, you know, in a micro sort of way, because you don't know if you're going to wake back up. And I think that taking risk in your life is such a no-brainer, because how many times do you hear people like, this is, if you want to know what to do in life, you should always speak to people who are older than you, like by 30, 40 years, and ask them what they wish they did in their life. And I've spoke to a lot of people who are in the older generation, and they've always said one thing to me, and they said, I wish I took more risks. I wish I really went for it.
Yeah, exactly. What better time than now?
Exactly, and
we have the privilege of being able to take risks because we have time on our side. I mean, time, we don't really have much time. We shouldn't think of anything like that. Like, you'll notice that even though we do have time, I won't allow us to enjoy that time.
No,
we enjoy the process, but we got to get to fucking work. But at the same time, if we were 40 or 50, we maybe wouldn't want to take this risk because the uncertainty involved there. With risk comes uncertainty, and uncertainty is fine for me now because I know that I can fall my ass completely, and then I can just go again and go again and go again, and then all of a sudden I'm 30, and one of those ventures, one of those methods will reap rewards. It will happen. And now that we've started at 21, there are kids starting at 16 and by 21 they've made it. By 30 we will have made it. How exactly, I don't know, but I don't know if it would have been possible without the risk. But we can take risk, and this is what I mean. What even is risk at our age? It's necessary. Risk is just trying things.
Yeah,
without knowing whether they're going to work or not. When you're 60, risk is like, fuck, I could lose my insurance, I could lose my savings here, I could lose my retirement.
Yeah,
doesn't matter.
A lot of people are scared to try things though because of the risk involved, and they think that they measure risk too significantly in their life. They think that risk is like this massive, terrible thing. Really, risk is just a psychological barrier you're putting in front of yourself. If me and Alex didn't think that what we're going to do is going to be successful, we wouldn't have taken it. We would have masked it with the whole risk factor. Like, oh, it's too much of a risk. Really, in life, it's only a risk if you're uncertain of yourself.
Now, I am uncertain of myself, and I am uncertain as to how this will work. But it doesn't mean I'm not going to try anyway. People are scared of taking the risks because they haven't got guaranteed answers. But that's not a reason not to take them anyway. Especially when you're young, you might as well just do it. I don't know what the outcome of this will be. I can't speak to whether risk is worth it. Although there are enough stories of successful people to know that without risk, there is no real success. And that risk is necessary. It's a necessary part of becoming a better person.
I think risk teaches you a lot about yourself as well. Because this business in itself is a risk. I mean, there are people who could look at us and laugh at us for what we're doing. And they could look and make comments about certain things about us and highlight how we're in.
I was recently called B-Tech Andrew Tate, which is quite funny.
Yeah, it's support at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But, there's a lot, we're exposing our lives a bit here. I mean, we're talking about our personal journeys and our personal ventures on a podcast that's listened to by hundreds of people.
Our reputation is on the line because I'm sharing a lot about my personal views. And I'm a stubborn bastard. So what I'm doing, I'm risking credibility by talking about unpopular opinions to a lot of people. The woke community probably don't like me very much, but the woke community need to change their views because they're in the wrong. They have foolish leftist mindsets. Whereas people like Andrew Tate have been condemned for his and their views. For what reason exactly? And that's the thing. Like, Andrew Tate took a huge risk by risking his freedom, which has now been materialized because he's been in jail since Christmas. He risked his freedom. He risked his life in pursuit of truth. And what are the benefits of that? I mean, he's helped me. Without Andrew Tate, I don't think I would have the same hardness as I do now. A lot of people will say, but he's ruined you, he's programmed you, he's brainwashed you. Yeah, he may have brainwashed me. I may be B-Tech Andrew Tate, but I will accept that. I will accept being a disciple, a follower of Andrew Tate, because he's a good man and he wants to help young men. And he risked his own freedom for the benefit of other people. There's a great discussion around risk that we could have, where you kind of risk your own self for the benefit of other people, like Andrew Tate did. I'm risking my reputation by saying things that aren't going to be agreed with by everyone. I'm still willing to do it in pursuit of free speech, the truth of what really matters to me deep down. And as you say, you can ask people who are older, who might say, I wish I took more risks. You hear this a lot. I cannot imagine how horrible it feels to have regrets. Because that's the downside of not taking risk. It's regret. It's, do you really want to regret things? Because even if you don't risk and you're like, right, okay, I'm not going to fail at this. Because people will laugh at us. Because I try a million things. I did a podcast before this. I've tried a million different financial means of making money, and they've all failed. I've lost shitloads of money. And people might think, this guy wannabe trader, he thinks he's making money, he's not, he's losing it. Yeah, damn right I'm losing money, but that comes with lessons. If you don't risk anything, you'll never know. Yeah.
We're all about failure.
I want to know everything in life that there is to know. I have the fear of not knowing what other people know. So I will try everything, I will learn as much as possible. And yes, along the way, I'm going to fuck up big time, I'm going to fail. But I'll never know if I didn't risk. And that's why I love risk. And that's why it is beautiful. Because without risk, there's no real understanding of what you could have become.
No.
That scares the shit out of me. What could I have become if I actually applied myself consistently and took all the risks and just went for it?
That's what drives me every day. I always imagine myself, I've always said to myself, if you want the things in life that other people want, if you want the things in life that no other person has, you've got to do the things that no other person will do. And how many 21-year-olds would quit their job to pursue their business full time?
But again, I think that comes from privilege.
Could potentially.
Because there are some people who don't have any family, who live on their own, who do pay rent every month, who have, bills to pay, debts because they're helping their family members out. I know boys who are paying their mother's rent. I'm incredibly privileged that I don't need to do that. So really, even though, yes, okay, we did take the leap and we did embrace uncertainty. That's what we've done. We've taken the risk and embraced uncertainty. At the same time, the amount of people that I know who had money, who came from money, not I guess, I mean like money. We don't have money. I just have a foundation that I can fall back on, which does soften the risk, softens the consequences. But I know boys who just quit their jobs and they said they were going to pursue their startup, and the money for the startup came from their parents. The time to do that came from their parents providing them with an income, so they didn't need to work. It's easy to succeed then, really. Maybe, I don't know. But at the same time, it's not a risk. There's no risk involved. They're just having a laugh. There's more risk involved with us, but there are people who cannot do that.
Yeah,
they have to make money from it before they can do it. I had a bit saved up, but once that runs out, I need to make sure there is income there. But there are boys who would literally, the consequences are far, far, far greater for them. Especially now in the cost of living crisis. Yes, it's the best time to start a business, but there are people really, really affected by that on a daily basis, and they can hardly find the money to put into investing into themselves. I do believe that a lot of it's an excuse, and you can always find something. But at the same time, some people cannot take the same risk that we did. And if they did take the same risk we did, the risk would be far, far, far greater for them. So it's hard for us to say, a lot of other people wouldn't. But we're in a better position than other people. And you can disagree with that if you want, but it's true.
No, I agree with that. And obviously we are in a better position than people, but you can have a...
Not everyone, but lots of people.
But you can have the mindset as well to we're lucky we've got that sort of entrepreneurial mindset that we've gained from speaking to people and networking with different people. And I think that sometimes that mindset is the best thing to have over any sort of asset you can have. Some people have money, but no mental state to make more money. They just have cash. Like, you said, your friends pursuing their startups from their parents, like they don't have the same appreciation of what it takes to succeed because all they've ever been around is success. I think if you put yourself around failure a lot, you are primed for success.
That's what I mean, but without risk, there isn't a lot of failure. No. And if you avoid failure, then you can cruise through life at baseline and achieve a moderate lifestyle. If you're quite academic like me, you can get a corporate job and make 60, 70 grand a year in 5-10 years.
That's going to be us monthly.
Daily, bro. I'll be making that in my sleep.
I hope you do.
I will. Don't hope anything is true. I just don't know when. Soon.
Yeah.
But, you can get a corporate job and make some money. But really, really deep down, there are very, very few people, I think, that actually want to do that. And they're scared of the risk. And I can't give advice to people. I can't, because I don't know what the consequences of this risk is. I don't know what this is going to entail. I think we just wanted to chat briefly about how we view risk, and how...
Well, it'd be interesting to compare in time, I think,
yeah.
this podcast. And we spoke about this last episode, but I quite like these podcasts because we can reflect on these in years to come and
yeah, they're personal, they're journal entries as much as their value provided. And that's I don't know what value we provided. I think we've just waffled on about how we view risk. I don't know how to formulate a main takeaway from this episode. But
this might encourage some people to take risk because they think...
Well, yes. If you're young, absolutely go for it. Absolutely go for it. I understand that people will listen to this and might think, oh yeah, but he's got that studio, he's got more resources. Potentially, yes. And I'm making myself sound like I come from a rich family. I definitely don't. But I do at the same time understand that, especially now, there are some families who are taking it as a huge success if they just get to the end of the month without going hungry. And I get it. Just constantly have that in your mind that when you're young, the older you get, the greater the risk becomes. The greater the risk becomes to do things. So get in early. And what's worrying me now, what's really, really stressing me out, is I'm hearing people who have escaped the matrix. They're out, and they talk about the next year or two being a very, very crucial time. If you don't get rich now, you may never ever manage it. You may never do it. You may be a slave to the matrix for your whole life. That scares me. I refuse to be poor. I will not be poor.
Yeah, no, thank you.
And I need to get rich soon, and it's stressing me out. And if you're young and you're not thinking the same, and you're just enjoying your 9 to 5 and going and spending all your money on holidays and trips away, grow the fuck up and sort your life out, because it's only going to be a matter of time before it all goes wrong anyway. So you've got nothing to lose, really. Take the fucking risk, put your front foot forward, and just go for it and do what you want. And if you don't know how to make money, Google how to make money. There are actually a lot of ways, and I'm building some up myself. But it is hard, but it doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. You have to do it if you want any sort of self-respect, because you will be a slave to the matrix if you continue to avoid risk and avoid failure. Yes, you might fall on your ass, but you'll get back up stronger, 100%. But I'm going to finish with that. I don't want to say anything else.
It's better to fall on your ass than to never fall. You know, at least there's somewhere to get up from if you can fall on your ass.
Because you'll end up being so worried about money that what the fuck is your quality of life? There will be nothing.
Because money doesn't exist, really, does it?
Not really. I mean, all that exists is your experiences, and your experiences are vastly limited. Vastly limited.
Money's just a freedom token.
I know, but money isn't. It's honestly, I'm not turning this episode into something else. I just want to make the point that without you taking the risk, you will never improve your situation. The society is not built for your situation to be improved
over time
by other people. It's not going to be improved. And even over time, inflation will erode your improvements. If you don't actually improve your life yourself by risking something, you won't get better. I can assure you that much. And I'll continue to take risks. Join a networking group.
Join ours.
We don't have one.
Exactly. So now's the time to start them.
We will start one soon. If you're interested, let us know. But I'm going to leave it there. Matthew, any final comments?
2 final comments. Number 1, it's never too late to start. And it's never going to be the right time to start.
The best time to start was 20 years ago. The second best time is now.
So do it. And secondly, myself and Alex have recently obviously gone full time. Obviously, you've listened to this podcast and you've got it here and you've got so far into this podcast. So thank you for listening. But we've now got a service that we're going to be providing people. We are going to be making professional quality reels. You can look at our website for examples, www.clubiron.com/services, if you want to check out our examples. But we are going to continue to promote them on social media, and you are probably going to see them everywhere, especially if you follow our page. If you like us or if you hate us, you're going to see them anyway. But
it's going to be a really awkward period of time for our haters, because they're just not going to get away from us. Really unfortunate time for you guys, but we love you all the more because you help the algorithm, so thank you for that. And thank you to our actual loyal fans for watching. We do appreciate it every week. I don't know how we're going to move forward with the podcast, but I am quite enjoying the current format we have. We may do solo episodes where I will pick something I'm really interested in and I will just sit and talk.
Like a first man sort of video.
I will sit and talk about what I'm interested in, and Matthew will do the same. Really, it's going to be a better conversation if we talk together because we have 2 perspectives. But at the same time, I do enjoy a lecture style video when I'm sat there in front of my computer with some research up and I'm talking about something, reacting to something. We'll give that a go. We really appreciate your honest feedback on that, whether it's good or bad. We still appreciate it because it helps us move forward. So I'm going to leave that there. Thank you for watching once again.
Catch you on the next episode.
with chicken and rice. Let's go.